You're the only one who ever saw the real me. Not the version I crafted for the world, not the mask I've worn for so long that even I began to believe it was my face, but the raw, unfiltered truth of who I am when all the noise falls away. You looked at me and didn't just see the surface. You stepped past it, into the shadows, into the messy places I had locked away from everyone. And you didn't flinch. You didn't turn away. You stayed. That's the thing I still can't get over. You stayed. I've walked through most of my life as if I were made of stone, convincing myself I could handle it all, convincing the world I didn't need anyone to carry any part of me. But then you came along, and it was like light finding a crack in the armor. You didn't break it. You warmed it slowly until the steel softened. Until I found myself wanting to show you the pieces I'd hidden. And when I did, you didn't run. You didn't call me weak. You touched those pieces as if they were holy, as if even my scars were sacred. I think about that often, the way you saw me. No one else has ever done that. People see the image, the role, the name, the reputation, but you saw the man. You saw the soul. And you didn't see it as something broken beyond repair. You saw something worth loving, something worth fighting for. You taught me that my darkness didn't erase my light. You taught me that maybe, just maybe, I was worthy of love even when I couldn't give it to myself. There's a moment I keep coming back to in my mind. It wasn't grand or dramatic. We were just sitting together, no words, no rush. You looked at me with this kind of quiet understanding, like you could read every thought I wasn't saying, and instead of asking me to explain, you simply reached out and touched my hand. And in that touch, I felt more seen, more understood than I ever had in my entire life. It was the kind of moment that doesn't announce itself but changes you forever. Sometimes I wonder if you realize the depth of your impact on me, how you shifted something in my soul that will never shift back. You made me realize that I had been starving, not for attention, not for validation, but for someone to truly know me and not turn away. For someone to hold my truth without trying to fix it or reshape it. You did that. You held it. You held me. And yet, I let fear get in the way. I let old wounds dictate my steps. I told myself it was safer to step back, to guard my heart, to retreat into the comfort of solitude where I couldn't be hurt. But the truth is, the moment you know what it's like to be seen, really seen, everything else feels hollow. Empty. I walked away, but I've never stopped carrying you. Every day since, there's been a part of me that wishes I had stayed. I think about how you would have loved me through the storms I tried to face alone. I think about how you would have reminded me that my worth wasn't tied to my strength. And I hate that I didn't give you the chance to prove what you'd already shown me, that your love was not conditional, that it was not fragile, that it could stand even in the face of my mess. You are the mirror I didn't know I needed, the one that reflects not just the surface but the depth, the parts of me that I didn't want to see and the ones I didn't know existed. With you, I couldn't hide. With you, I didn't want to. And that terrified me, because when someone sees the real you, they hold the power to destroy you. But you never used that power. You only used it to heal. There's a piece of me that still feels your gaze, even now. It follows me in quiet moments. When I'm alone, when I'm lost in thought, I feel the memory of your eyes on me, and I swear it's the only thing that makes me believe I'm more than the sum of my mistakes. It's the only thing that makes me believe I'm still capable of being loved for who I am, not for what I can give. And I wonder, do you still see me like that? If I stood before you now, stripped of all the masks, would you still recognize me? Or have I drifted so far from who I was with you that I'm unrecognizable? I don't know. But what I do know is that you're the only one I want to find out. There are nights when I lie awake and feel you in the quiet, like a whisper against my skin. It's not a sound, not something my ears can catch. It's deeper, something my soul recognizes. It's the way my chest tightens for no reason at all, the way my thoughts wander to you without permission, as if your name is written into the rhythm of my heartbeat. I think that's what you became for me, a rhythm, a constant, something that moves through me even when I'm not aware of it. You've become a part of my breathing. I tell myself I should be able to let go. That time should have worn away the sharp edges of this connection. And yet, no matter how much distance stretches between us, you remain vivid. I don't just remember you, I feel you. as if part of you was woven into me the moment we met, and removing it would mean unmaking who I am. There is no forgetting you because there is no part of my life that doesn't carry your imprint. When the world feels too loud, I close my eyes and picture your presence. I remember the way it felt to be in your orbit, how everything seemed to soften just by being near you. Even my own chaos quieted. You didn't demand I be calm, you didn't tell me to change. You simply existed in a way that made me want to match your stillness. And yet, you could also set me on fire with a glance. You were both my anchor and my spark, and I've never found that in anyone else. I think about the weight of my silences, how they must have felt to you. You, who gave so much of yourself so freely, and me, who held back like love was something to ration. I thought I was protecting both of us. But now I see I was only teaching you how to live without me. And you did. You learned how to carry your own light when I should have been there to share the load. I hate myself for that. But the truth is, I was afraid of being seen too much. You saw things I had never shown anyone, my uncertainty, my longing, my shame, and instead of using those truths against me, you cherished them. I didn't know what to do with that kind of love. It was too pure, too real, and I wasn't sure I deserved it. So I hid, even from you, especially from you. And still, you didn't stop seeing me. Even when I was at my most guarded, you found ways to reach through. You'd say something small, something that seemed meaningless to anyone else, and it would cut straight to the core of who I am. You had a way of speaking to the parts of me I thought were invisible. I think that's why losing you has left such an ache. Because once someone has truly seen you, there's no going back to being invisible. Sometimes, when I'm walking through the city or sitting alone in a crowded cafe, I imagine you walking in. No warning, no fanfare, just you as you are. And I wonder what my face would give away before I even had a chance to speak. I wonder if you'd see the same man you knew before, or if the weight of all this time apart has changed me beyond recognition. But then I think, no, you'd still see me. Because you never looked with just your eyes, you looked with something deeper. If I could give you anything right now, it wouldn't be flowers or promises or even an apology, though God knows you deserve one. I would give you the truth, all of it. Every thought I buried, every feeling I locked away, every reason I kept my distance. I would tell you how you scared me, not because you were dangerous, but because you were safe. Safe enough for me to let go, and that terrified me. I had never let anyone see the real me without expecting them to leave. But you didn't. And maybe that's why I left first. But here I am, still haunted by the way your eyes could strip away every lie I told myself. Still hearing your laughter in my memory like a song I can't stop humming. Still carrying the warmth of your touch in my skin as if no time has passed. Here I am, wishing I could go back, not to change the past, but to stay in it a little longer. To sit across from you one more time and let you see me without the fear. Because you're the only one who ever did. There are days I replay entire conversations in my mind, not because I'm trying to cling to the past, but because those moments were the rare times I felt completely alive. Do you know what it's like to speak without rehearsing? To let the words fall without worrying how they'll be received? That's what it was like with you. You made honesty feel like breathing. You made vulnerability feel less like a risk and more like a gift I was finally ready to give. I didn't realize then how rare that was, how rare you were. I realize it now. You had this way of asking questions that weren't really questions. They were invitations. Invitations for me to open the door and let you see the parts of my world I kept locked away. And even when I hesitated, even when I took too long to answer, you never pushed. You waited. You gave me the kind of patience I didn't think existed in this world. And I know I didn't thank you enough for that. Sometimes I think about how much you must have seen in me that I couldn't see in myself. How you must have looked past all my sharp edges and messy corners and still found something worth staying for. I wonder what it is you saw. I wonder if you still see it now, after everything. The truth is, being seen like that is terrifying. Because once someone knows the real you, they hold a kind of map, one that can lead them to the softest parts of your heart. And if they ever wanted to, they could break you without even trying. I think that's why I ran. I think that's why I kept my distance even while I wanted nothing more than to pull you closer. I didn't want to hand someone that kind of power over me. But the irony is, I gave it to you anyway. You had it the moment we met. You probably knew it before I did. Even now, you are the standard I measure everything against. Every voice I hear, every smile I see, every pair of eyes that meet mine, I find myself comparing them to yours and none of them match. Not even close. There's a depth in you I can't explain. It's not just beauty, not just kindness. It's the way your soul seems to recognize mine, like we've been carrying each other through lifetimes. That kind of connection isn't something you can replace. It's once in a lifetime, maybe once in eternity. Do you know how many times I've caught myself starting to write to you? Messages I never send. Words I never speak out loud. I write them at 2 in the morning when the world is quiet and I can hear my own heart too clearly. Sometimes they're apologies. Sometimes they're confessions. Sometimes they're just simple truths like I miss you or I wish you were here. And every time I stop myself before I hit send. Not because I don't want you to know, but because I'm afraid of what it might mean if you don't answer. But in the silence, I still talk to you. I send words into the universe like prayers and hope they reach you somehow. I hope you feel them in the way the air shifts around you, in the way a song catches your attention at the right moment, in the way your thoughts wander to me out of nowhere. Maybe that's how we're still connected, through the invisible, through the things we can't explain. And maybe that's enough. Or maybe it will never be enough. All I know is, no matter how far I try to go, I find myself circling back to you. You are the constant in a world full of change, the truth in a life full of masks, the one who saw me when I didn't even know how to see myself. And I think a part of me will always belong to you for that reason alone. I think about the way your presence felt like sunlight breaking through a cold morning. Not a sudden burst, but a slow, steady warmth that seeped into every part of me. I didn't even realize how cold I'd been until you brought that warmth. You made me remember that I had a heart worth keeping alive, a soul worth tending to. You didn't just see me. You reminded me who I was before the world taught me to hide. And maybe that's why I can't let go of you. You didn't just touch my life. You touched my identity. Even now, when I look at myself in the mirror, I see traces of the man you believed in. The one you encouraged, the one you told me could do better, be better, love better. And I want to live up to that image. I want to become the version of me you saw so clearly. Sometimes I wonder if you were the universe's way of showing me my own potential, if you were sent to awaken something I'd buried long ago. If that's the case, you succeeded. Because even without you here, I feel your influence in everything I do. There are moments when I imagine you standing in front of me again, and I think about the words I would finally say. No half-truths, no careful avoidance, just the raw, unfiltered truth of how much you've shaped my life. I'd tell you that I miss the way your eyes searched mine like you were looking for the pieces I didn't even know were missing. I'd tell you that no matter how far I go, I still feel tethered to you by something I can't name. And I'd tell you that losing you wasn't like losing a person. It was like losing a part of myself. I know I made it hard for you to love me. I know I built walls you had to climb over just to get close. And yet, you did. Again and again, you showed up. And when I think about that, I realize how rare it is for someone to choose you in your rawest, most difficult moments. You didn't love the version of me I showed the world. You loved the one I tried to keep hidden. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you unforgettable. Sometimes in the quiet, I can still feel your gaze. It's like a phantom touch brushing over the edges of who I am. And every time I feel it, I remember what it was like to be truly seen. Not judged, not measured, just seen. It's such a rare thing, so rare that I think people go their entire lives without experiencing it. But I did. I experienced it with you, and that's why no one else compares. I don't know where our story goes from here. Maybe we find our way back. Maybe we stay as we are, connected in spirit but distant in life. But whatever happens, I need you to know this. You changed me. You left a mark on my soul that will never fade. You're the only one who ever saw the real me, and I will spend the rest of my days grateful for that, no matter how much it hurts to live without you. If fate ever gives me another chance, I won't run. I won't hide. I'll stand in front of you with nothing but the truth, and I'll let you see me again, every flaw, every fear, every dream. Because you're the only one I trust with all of it. You always were. You always will be. I wonder sometimes if you still carry me the way I carry you. If my presence still drifts into your mind in quiet moments, uninvited but undeniable. If you ever stop mid-thought because something, a scent, a song, a fragment of a sentence, pulls you back to a moment that belonged only to us. I like to think you do. I like to think this connection has etched itself into both of us so deeply that no matter what roads we take, some part of us will always be walking together. It's strange how the smallest things can become sacred when they're tied to someone you love. The way you'd tilt your head when you were curious. The way your laughter rose in layers, soft at first, then louder until it wrapped around me completely. The way you'd look at me when you thought I wasn't paying attention, as if you were memorizing me. Those moments still live in me, untouched by time. They're the parts of my memory I protect the most because they feel too fragile for the world to touch. You gave me something I didn't even know I needed. Permission to exist as I am. No performance, no perfection, no disguise, just me. Do you have any idea how rare that is? To be allowed to drop every defense and still be met with love. You didn't just accept my truth, you honored it. You made me believe that maybe I wasn't so hard to love after all. And I hate that I didn't tell you that enough. I hate that I let so many words stay trapped in my chest, that I thought there would always be more time to say them, that I assumed you knew. Maybe you did. Maybe you felt it in the way I held you, in the way I looked at you when I thought you weren't looking back. But I should have said it. I should have told you that you were the first person who made me feel truly seen, that you were the first person I wanted to be completely honest with, that you were the first person I trusted more than my own walls. If you were here right now, I'd take your hands in mine and I wouldn't let go. I'd tell you that even when I was distant, I was yours. Even when I was silent, I was speaking to you in my own way. Even when I tried to convince myself I could forget you, my soul refused. I'd tell you that you were never just a chapter in my story. You are the thread that runs through every page. And I'd promise you this. If life ever brings you back to me, I won't waste the chance. I'll show up in full. I'll let you see every part of me without fear because now I know being seen by you isn't something to be afraid of. It's something to be grateful for. It's something to cherish. You're the only one who ever saw the real me. And I think a part of me will spend the rest of my life hoping you'll see me again. Until then, I'll carry you in the quiet. I'll remember you in the spaces between heartbeats. And I'll keep becoming the man you believed I could be, so that if that day ever comes, I'll be ready to stand in front of you unafraid and say, "Here I am, all of me, yours if you still want me."